So what are UTMs and why are they useful? Well, UTMs are quite useful, and so let's learn about what they are. How do they work? How do we use them? And finally, where can I find UTM data in Google Analytics? That's an important one. We'll go over that as well. You've probably heard of them before. You might have been using them already. UTM, Urchin Tracking Modules. Yes, they are really called that. I don't know who came up with the name. It's kind of a mystery, but either way, they're incredibly useful. So at the end of the day, a UTM is pretty much just a link with parameters that specify information about the traffic it creates. So for example, this is a UTM link right here. Imagine a blog called besthomebread.com. And so let's say my site is affiliated with that besthomebread.com, and Jay from besthomebread.com has a blog and he's recommending my bread course, and he throws in that link. When people click on this link here, they navigate to my site, and when they navigate to my site, they land on the homepage. They do whatever they need to do. Now I can see that that traffic came specifically from the affiliate blog, and so I'll go more into that later on. But for now, you can see here that the highlighted portion of the URL represents the information that automatically gets sent to your Google Analytics property by default. So the UTM source, UTM medium, and the UTM campaign. So in this case, it tells us the source, where did it come from? Jay's bread blog. And why did it come from Jay's bread blog? Because it's an affiliate. And the campaign being, well, what are we sending that traffic to our site for? Well, the home bread course. We're trying to get traffic to our course that teaches people how to make delicious homemade bread. So think of UTMs like an AirTag. Using UTMs is like placing an AirTag in your car when your not so reliable friend borrows it. Normally you can see it leave the driveway and re-enter the driveway. That's it. In between, you're just stuck praying that the car comes back. But what if you wanted to know where that car was in between those 2 points in time? Well, you'd place an AirTag in your vehicle, and then you'd see where that vehicle goes in between leaving and coming back, and thus do a lot less praying. Now, I know that sounds kind of creepy, so let me explain further. You can only see where that tracking takes place under your own domain. So it's not like you can place a tracker somewhere and then find out where a specific user goes for an entire month of website browsing. No, that's not at all the case here. UTMs are highly strategic to find out what's happening under your own domain. So for example, you see this URL right here. This is a UTM link. When someone clicks this, when they land under my site here, casaponcho.com, when they navigate through the services or they go to the blog, that's where I can see what they click on or what type of events are triggered under that specific UTM source or UTM medium or UTM campaign. And those parameters for those events that they trigger, they are sent to my Google Analytics 4 property. Now, as soon as they leave my website, it disappears. There's no more parameters stuck to that user's URL. We're not tracking people as they surf the web here. We are specifically tracking our own marketing strategies, our own marketing resources under our own domain. And you can tell here that this is where cross-domain tracking comes into play, which is a more complex topic, but that's where you have multiple websites and you'll need to track a specific marketing strategy from one website to another, and you can configure that. But again, you cannot configure tracking where you can see people's movement from any website they navigate to. That's not what we're doing here. UTMs are very useful. Here's another visualization of how it works, and this will make more sense. So imagine you have an affiliate, you've got a newsletter, and you've got a paid ad. You place a UTM link that you've created on your affiliate, on your newsletter, and on your paid ad. Now, different amounts of people are going to click those UTM links on those mediums, right? You're not going to have the same traffic from your affiliate than you will with your newsletter, and so forth with your paid ad. So you can see here that when people click on those links and go to your website, in Google Analytics, you'll see on your traffic report that because those users click those UTM links, you can see that 5 users came from your affiliate, 4 users came from your newsletter, and 20 came from your paid ad. And that helps you justify either putting more money into your paid ad or putting more work into your affiliate connections, or possibly your newsletter, again, based on the traffic that comes in. So let's talk a little bit more about the parameter types. So the parameters are essentially what's appended to that URL. It is, so with a UTM link, you see the UTM source, the UTM medium, the UTM campaign. When you see that equal sign, UTM medium equals, and then here you see affiliate, or up here you see UTM source equals Jay's bread blog. The Jay's bread blog portion is that parameter. So when we say a UTM parameter, we mean what you're associating with your source or your medium or your campaign, because that information is what's sent to Google Analytics. So long story short, the UTM source tells you what platform the traffic came from, your medium tells you what kind of marketing strategy it was, and the campaign gives the link a name for reference purposes, which we'll go into more detail in a bit. There's a couple other ones that you can use, among actually many others. I say a couple now because there's a couple others, specifically UTM term, UTM content, that are useful with things like Facebook ads, TikTok ads. You can use something like UTM ID. There are more than that as well, but for simplistic purposes, let's just stick to what we can commonly use. And so UTM term can be used with an ad set. So if you want to identify a specific ad set, just associate it with your UTM term. Maybe you have keywords that are specific to that UTM link. Use UTM term. UTM content, associate it with the graphic that you're using. If you have a blue logo, you have a green logo, you want to differentiate between the two, again, to test which of those links or which copy those links are attached to is further or is more so resonating with your audience. Then you would use something like UTM content to differentiate between your links. So here's an example again of a UTM using the besthomebread.com example once again. So the UTM source being Facebook, the UTM medium being CPC for cost per click, and then the campaign being the home bread course. UTM term, warm audience. So we're testing out our warm audience. This is specifically catered to that audience. And then the content parameter being associated with the moldy bread image. That just tells us, again, which image we used with that link to compare it against other images that we've used that also have UTM links. So here's a quick breakdown of, again, those parameters. Source could be something like Instagram, Facebook, Google, or Bing. It's the platform. Medium, cost per click, your newsletter, affiliate, maybe it's a QR code, the technology behind it. You can think of it that way. Campaign, okay, Black Friday sale, Valentine's special, 50% buy one, get one. Term could be something like cold traffic or warm audience. However you want to reference your own work. It's again to differentiate when you're doing your analysis. Content could be something like moldy bread image, green icon, old logo, and so forth. I will add, when you're creating your UTMs, do not use spaces or uppercase letters in your parameters. Google Analytics will not pick it up. So that's important to keep in mind. So for Facebook ads, we'd use something like this, similar to my last example. UTM source, Facebook, UTM medium, cost per click, campaign, the home bread course, UTM term, warm audience, UTM content, moldy bread image. So when we see this information in Google Analytics, we would filter it by purchase as an example. You have your purchases, and then you filter in session campaign, session source, session medium, and you can see your purchases that come from cost per click. You can see your purchases that came from the moldy bread image, and you can thus compare with other information that you set in UTM links for other Facebook ads. Well, how do we use the UTMs? Getting back to how we can actually apply this. Well, okay, here's a link to the UTM builder from Google. It is wonderful. So after I show you how to do it, I suggest you stop the video and just go and create your first UTM link, or maybe your 10th or 20th or 100th, whatever. Just create one, use it, and watch your data come in. That's always the best part. So I'll go through how to use it right now. Common use case example would be, if you want to try something out, your Facebook page for your business. It's got a link to your website. Why not just create a UTM link, replace your current link with that UTM link, That way, now when you're in your Google Analytics, you can see the traffic that comes specifically from your Facebook page and not just maybe, an ad or maybe whatever it may be outside of your Facebook profile page. It's again a way to distinguish traffic. So you're not just getting a broad set of data, you're getting fine-tuned data. So in Google Analytics, what you'll want to do is you'll want to go to reports and then acquisition and traffic acquisition. That's where you'll see all the data. So let's jump into an example of how to use your UTMs here. So let's go to the UTM builder. So Google calls it the campaign URL builder. Easy enough just to call it the UTM builder. What you can do here is you got your website URL. So here's mine. I've put mine in already. Place your website URL at the top. Go down to campaign source. You can put your source in here. So I've named this Jay's Analytics blog. And for my medium, it's an affiliate because I know Jay and Jay is a good guy and he likes my product and he's going to recommend my product to people. So he's written a blog about my service and he's put a link in his blog. And so now when people click on that link in the blog, I'll know that they came and checked out my stuff specifically from him, and then I can thank him for it. So for campaign name, we'll say affiliate traffic just so that we know it's affiliate traffic. And what happens is it generates the link for you right down at the bottom here, and you just copy and paste this in your browser URL, and that will take you to your site. And I'll show you that in a second. I want to make a quick note. Inside the parameter fields here, you'll notice that some of the titles here, like campaign source, they have a little star next to the name. That means that those are what you're going to want to start with. Those are the basic ones, source, medium, and campaign. You only really need those. Those are the recommended ones. So I would use those. Don't worry about these other ones. You can, like I said before, use these: campaign term, campaign content. There are more that you can fit in as well when you just code it yourself. But for now, this is the simplest way to do it. So like I said before, when you're done, you can come down here and copy your UTM and we can test it out. So you just copy it, and when you put it in your browser URL, you'll go to your website, and when you navigate to the URL bar, you will see that you will have your campaign information, the source and medium information appended to the original URL, just like in the UTM builder. And so it's a good test to see that in your URL bar after you've clicked on it to know that it's working. Then you would go to your Google Analytics and you would go into reports, and then you would click on acquisition and then traffic acquisition. And by default, it's channel group. We can change that to session source medium. And then what you'll see here is all your session sources and mediums. So you can see down here, Jay's Analytics blog affiliate. I can see that one user just came from Jay's Analytics blog and it was affiliate traffic. So that's good stuff.